Duel Review is brought to you by SpiderWolf.com.
On today's Duel Review, it's Guilds of Cadwallon. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Hey everybody, today is the 19th, and we're taking a look at a Kickstarter game, The Guilds of Cadwallon.
That's right, and this is a Cool Mini or Not game, which...
Go figure.
Yeah, which, you know, Cool Mini or Not from Zombicide and...
Freaking everything else on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So, this game is kind of simple to play, but, you know, extreme to master. I don't know what I was going to say there. It's actually a pretty fun game, or in my opinion, it's a pretty fun game. Basically, you get these... I don't want to call it a board game, but it is kind of a board game where you have tiles, which are more or less cards, and you're going to take them at random and build a grid. Some of them are 3x3 grids, 4x4, or 5x5, depending on how many players that you want. We played with 3x3 because there's only 2 of us, and so you're going to make a grid, easy peasy, just like chicken easy, just like that. And you also have your guilds, and each character can have their own guild. And with the expansion, you get multiple guilds. I think the first, the non-expansion pack only came with 4 guilds. But here I am. I'm the Blue Bats, and you're the Red Fire Spitters or the Brown Fire Spitters. I don't know what the hell they are. Is it fire? I don't know.
Kind of like Scarecrow. They remind me of Scarecrow, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So basically, what you're going to do is the first player. Here's the first player card to indicate who the first player is. Not that's really important. But basically, the first player is going to choose to place one of their guild members in a boulevard. Now, a boulevard is here or here or here, so it's not a full length. This would be a street. A boulevard is between 2 cards. And
not diagonally, just ornithological.
Right, and you can't put them in the center. There's no center here, so you have to choose. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to use the number from 1 to get to the other. So over here you have 2. So my power here is 2, which means that if I want this card, I have 2 power against it. Whereas if he put his card here, I guess that's 2 as well. I think they're all 2s.
Well,
how odd is that?
So you're supported by the cards on either side. So you're supported on the right when you're going to left, and you're supported on the left when you're going to right. Now, a lot of cards don't have any support at all.
Right. And some of them have negative support.
Yeah, and some of them you don't want to have their support because they're militia, which... The first round, I did not understand that. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting all these cards. And then it's like, oh, no, militia's bad. You don't want militia. I'm like, what? They're worth like 3. It's like, yeah. Negative points.
Yeah. So let's say that this is how we're set up. Over here we have a 1. Over here is a 2. And over here is a 2. So for this one, because I am attacking with my support, which is the 2 over here for this one, because I have 2 over here and he only has 1, I'm going to get this one, so I place a little token. They come with little chips. I'm going to place a token there indicating that I won that one. Now, over here, let's say that I have it over here. We both have 2. So he has, for this one, he has 2 here, and I'm supporting with the 2, which means that no one gets it because we matched. And so basically it becomes all about strategy and where you place your guild members in order to gain these territories. And a lot of some of the territories are ability cards, which lets you play these certain abilities. So once you've won this, it gets put aside, and that's your victory pile. Once you've won, you put it aside, and sometimes you can use it. Now you're gonna continue to use this as at the end of the point you're gonna add up all of these for victory points, and whoever has the most victory points wins. So you're gonna use the ability and put it aside, but that still counts towards your ultimate goal, which I think is kind of silly, because if you're using an ability, I think you should also lose that, but that's not according to the rules.
I would agree. I would actually agree, but it just makes those ability cards even more valuable to get.
Right.
You like this more than I do. I kind of think of it as kind of a fancy tic-tac-toe, because that really is how it feels when you're playing, but it does have that added, you're trying to get the higher territories and like forcing the other to get the militia or the negative cards or whatever, making sure that you get more than they do as far as the same faction. What are they called? Oh, guild?
Guild, yeah.
The same guild. Once if you get like 5 of the same guild or 4 of the same guild, you'll be able to take each number and multiply it by 4. So that's really helpful to get, groupings. So yes, there is a lot of strategy. I wouldn't say that it's easy to learn, difficult to master, because it's really more of just kind of where you're just trying to think of the best possible move at the moment, and there's no real strategy. It's just...
Well, you have to think about, what your what the other player.
The
is
strategy
probably
only
going
goes
to do.
as far as the 9 on the thing at once, because once it's wiped clean, then you never know what you're going to, I
Right.
don't know. Maybe it does extend a little bit, because you're like, oh, if you leave that one, and then it happens to be a 2 or whatever, and then you're trying to get as many of the same guild and whatnot. But,
Right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm assuming that everything else was able to be
Captured by one of us.
taken, and the only 2 that weren't were these 2 because we had equal support between us, which means that they just weren't tackled. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take from the deck, and you're going to put out new cards totaling up to the 9. So you're going to recreate your 3x3 grid, placing them where they should be. And it's a running gag with me, but apparently whenever I play a board game, I have to drop something on the floor.
It's true.
It just happens all the time. Without fail, it's just ridiculous. So then you just continue playing until you, until you run out of...
You change turns, so if he went first last time, I get to go first this time. And
Right. Yeah, so he is now first player. Here's the first player
just
card.
go back and forth.
Right. And, again, let's see here, I'm trying to play. I'm going to go here. No, I'm going to go here.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those Kickstarter things, and I love seeing Kickstarter stuff. I love seeing the independent stuff. This is Cool Mini or not, so they've definitely been around. But you can tell that this is not their usual thing. So Cool Mini and they facilitate, other indie developers doing this stuff. The one thing I will say is that this game was given to us to test out and to play and to review by our friend Theron.
Thanks, Theron.
And he's the one that actually pledged on Kickstarter and all that. And I went back and looked at the Kickstarter, and it seemed like it would be a lot more, like combat oriented or something. It was really elaborate. They had a great video.
Yeah.
And so to get this, I think that it's a little bit like, hey, wait a minute, it's like you pulled the wool over my eyes, but it is a fun game.
Yes.
And it is the strategery of kind of, the games of yore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like with the games we grew up with, this is what we had. We didn't have characters in, like, combat or anything. We just had, like, thinky puzzles, Connect Four and, checkers and
I was kind of reminded of that game where, basically, it's a system of dots, so you have like rows and columns of dots, and I draw a line, then you draw a line, then I draw a line, then you draw a line, and then the goal is to finish a box. And once you finish a box, you put your initial in there, and then you keep on finishing boxes until, the entire grid is done, and whoever has the most initials wins, and the person who doesn't loses. And that's kind of what it reminds me of, because if he goes here, and that's where I want it to go, so that I can get all of, to kind of... combo up my ability, he kind of screws me over, and so it's all about systematically placing things and figuring out what he's going to do. But it just reminds me of those kind of things.
There's a lot of bluffing that goes on, and you have to also think, like, do I want to secure this for myself or screw him over the best I can, who's in the lead?
Do I want to go after the ability, or do I want to go after the high-paying location card?
It's really unfortunate that this was marketed in such a drastically different way than how the game feels, because I think it is a great game. It's just not the game that some people might have been expecting, because it was like, you'll be using your influence to grab territory and all that stuff, and it's not really, you're just putting your thing down. It's like I don't know how else to say it. It is a fun game.
There's no real influence.
It was also kind of due to that, that advertising that when we were reading the rule book, we're like, what? How the fuck do you play this game? Because we weren't expecting something so similar, simple in a sense, and the strategic thing. We were thinking like, okay, well, what does this card do? Well, it lays on the ground.
It just stays
it's on the table. So yes, when you know what this game is, some people are really going to enjoy it.
Yes. Another thing that this game has is contracts and.
These were expansions. Yeah,
and what are these ones called? Conditions, I think. And and they each have their own thing. I'm not really going to get into them because we didn't really play with them. But they add to the game value.
Yeah, it's mostly at the end when you're doing your scoring, because after all the territories are just add it all up and you multiply and all that stuff, and those usually help you there. Sometimes they'll help you like remove an enemy, and that really sucks is when you have a ability and you slap it down and you swap a tile for that tile. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
it's like that's so cheap. Kind of thing. But as long as you're, paying attention and you have abilities too, then maybe you can just swap it right back, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it is a simple game, and it's just a lot of fun, in my opinion. And it's just
didn't like it quite as much, but
I don't know. I think that the simplicity of it is it's just brilliant. You should have more games where it can be simple. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, because everyone's trying. Like, if you guys watched our Android video, which we're still getting flack for. it's just there's so much going
needlessly complicated.
Yeah.
I don't care what you guys say. It is needlessly complicated.
Agreed.
And the complication doesn't necessarily add anything. It has a great idea and it has some great story elements, but it's all forced and all comes down to points, which we just don't find engaging. Now, if somebody else does, that's great. But anyway, yes, I agree that there should be some games that are fairly simple.
This is only as complicated as it needs to be, and fortunately, it's not one of those ones that are simple, so it must be tailored for kids, you know, where it's got all this kind of cartoony, crappy art. You know, so I like that they took this simple game very seriously, and I like the art. I mean, the backgrounds are repeated, unfortunately, but that's only because it kind of some of the abilities talk about different things. So you can change a card with the same background as another card. So as long as like this one matches this one, you can switch them.
Yeah.
Other ones say that if it follows the same guild, you can switch them, or the same title, you can switch them. So
it's a kind of you know, like old German world, medieval fantasy kind of mixture kind of thing, and it is a decent artwork.
I like it. Yeah. So that's Guilds of Cadwallon. I enjoy it. I think it's very good. If you want to, you know, if you have like 10 minutes to kill, you want to play a game, this is definitely fun. You know, it should be like right next to like Zombie Dice or Flux, you know. So just go ahead and add this to your collection. It's a lot of fun.
It's a little more of an investment than Zombie Dice. I think it is this like one, 25 or 35, isn't it?
Was it? No, I think it was only like, well, maybe. I think I only saw the price in euros, so I may not be sure. But yeah, what's interesting is this Kickstarter only started with like, I think a goal of $5,000 or something like that, and then it ended up with like $116,000.
Well, I'll tell you why. The Kickstarter campaign was Cool Mini or Not.
Right.
And they had that awesome video that people... It didn't really explain the game. We were looking for a tutorial and we could not find one.
Right.
So I think that they kind of overstated things a little bit. But I'm not saying it's not a good game. I'm just saying that the people that got it not necessarily knew what they were getting.
Yeah. They may have been
but
like,
it was Cool Mini or Not, so they're just like, you know...
Cool Mini or Not, I have to get it!
Anyway, again, we love Kickstarting and we love indie developers. So if it seems interesting to you, definitely support it. You got to keep that going. A big business model, you got to die. Sorry. We got these little guys. We need to be coming up.
Yeah. That's why we like Kickstarter, because it's helping young developers grow.
That's right.
Which is what we're hoping for with Fisk 37, the card game.
All right, guys, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our great playlist. Game Lab's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has. And please leave comments. We love comments. And you can help support us by buying our wares at spiderwolf.com.
That's right. T-shirts, a card game, art print, short stories, and more. And speaking of the card game, I'm finally doing my Kickstarter for Fisk 37, the Enhanced Edition Combat Card Game. Go to Kickstarter and search for Fisk 37 to find it. Or you can follow my blog at fisk37.tumblr.com. I'm going to be blogging throughout the campaign and releasing new tidbits about characters and updates and all that good stuff. A lot of fun Kickstarter exclusives. So go check it out. If you like it, please share it and support us that way. Thank you very much.
And please, if you're on Facebook, go do a search for Duel Review, because I finally made a Facebook page and I'm looking for friends for Duel Review. So please friend us. And if I'm not commenting, yell at me, because I'm supposed to be keeping on top of it. So yeah, please help support us that way as well.
Yeah, we should totally have a picture of you like all sad and like, I need friends.
Yeah.
It's just like, I need friends. All right, guys. See you next time.
Oh. Yes.
Whatever, dude.
Won by technicality. I'll take it.
Up next, it's sort of a stranger. For those of you who may be very astute and watching and see that my eyes are like blinking a lot and whatnot, about 2 weeks ago my eyes decided that they were going to migrate to the back of my head, and so they're kind of still in transition. It's just kind of a strange thing, so just deal with it for a while. I've got to deal with it, so you can deal with it, and hopefully I'll get it corrected here soon. I'm healthy, my eyes are healthy. For some reason they just have started to see double vision. Wandering eye or some shit, I don't know. Keeps changing, so they're waiting. Waiting to see if it changes more, and I just don't want one of them to go like, whoop, 180. That would be lame. I can see inside my skull. We gotta check to see if you have a tumor. Nope, don't have a tumor. I know, because I can see. I was thinking about popping my eyes out and putting them back and seeing if that helped.
That's weird.
I went to paramedic school, and they told you how, or they taught you how to take a cup you know, and like tape it to their head because you don't want to do anything with the eye except for, you know, you wrap it, you put gauze in the cup, and you put the eye in the cup, and put the cup on the eye. It's like, does that really happen that often?
People's eyes
Like,
pop out?
well, actually, you'd be surprised. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be a paramedic.
How do you pop out an eye?
What are you talking about? It happens all the time. You can do it by sneezing, honestly.
And thanks again, Theron, for letting us borrow your games so we can review them. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
Yeah.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
I guess I shouldn't out him. I was gonna say I'm not sure he likes it because when we said, "Hey, is it okay if we keep it another week?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want that back."
No. He said that he didn't even play it. He said that he opened it up but didn't read the rule books, just like the other one. It just
I think he does that a lot.
Yeah. What he wants is for us to figure it out and then tell him how to play it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'm cool with that.
We'll just bring it on Friday. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's fun, but it's like grandma fun. You know, it's like Scrabble fun. It's like chess fun.
I like Scrabble.
I'm so bored with Scrabble. Because I always win. I don't always win this, though. He beat me every time. Who's the real winner? I don't have to go get my darts. Of course, you usually get them for me anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying to make myself feel better.
What is this book?